Shabbat Shalom, my friends. Okay, this is going to be our very first baking class. We begin with the question from me to you. What do we get when we combine the following ingredients? Chocolate frosting, rock chocolate, pretzel sticks, baking chocolate, sprinkles, or colored sugar. What do we get? Ready for the answer? What we get is a cupcake upon which a chocolate-covered pretzel is shaped into the image of a ladder reaching heavenward. I happily credit the Chabad website for having found a very tasty way to bring our Sedra this week to life. The Sedra is Vayetze, Genesis 28:10 and following, and in it we encounter the universally known story of Jacob dreaming of a ladder that stretched heavenward. The actual baking instructions can be found online through Chabad, but please don't forget to put on your toque chef's hat while you are baking. Now, I don't have a great track record of picking out the heroes and the villains in many of our Bible stories. Nadav and Avihu, those two of Aaron's sons who offered an Eish Zarah, a strange fire before God, and who were then immediately incinerated. Well, those guys were villains, right? I used to judge them very harshly. Not so much today. There's more. Noah was a good guy, selected by God precisely because he was a good guy. Until I finally swept away my nursery school fantasies and saw him for what he was. My friends, Noah, not such a pretty picture. So what am I left with? I certainly know, and I know beyond any question, that at the least our three avot, the three patriarchs, were good guys. The very best, through whose merit we are able to bring blessings to the Jewish people, and through that to all of humankind. Our Sedra focuses on Jacob, who was fleeing for his life from what he expected to be a murderous assault by his twin brother Esau. Jacob was my honest pick for Hero of the Week. And Esau was incessantly portrayed by the rabbis as the story's villain. But now I've come to abandon my deeply held negative evaluation of Esau, and as for Jacob, in my eyes, he is astonishingly far from deserving the status of hero. His life story can perhaps best be described as sordid. But we have been habituated over the centuries not to see what the biblical record actually lays out before our eyes. Cheated his brother, cheated his father, cheated his brother, cheated and was cheated by his father-in-law, cheated by Leah. He raised a family in which both cheating and murder were not necessarily to be condemned. His sons contemplated murdering a brother and then lied over many years to their father. And Joseph, he of the Technicolor Dreamcoat, certainly loved playing cat and mouse with his frightened and outclassed brothers. Later on, Joseph works out strategies to deceive his boss, Pharaoh, cheating Joseph. Such are the generations of Jacob, someone whom I'd always believed was a hero, and now fleeing for his life from the threats of Esau, exhausted and in no way certain how or even if his life would continue to unfold. Jacob grabs a rock, sets it as a pillow, goes to sleep, has a dream, and what a dream it was. A ladder its foot on the ground, but its head reaching toward the heavens. Angels, angels ascending and descending that ladder. And at the top of the ladder, who is there, standing there at the top of the ladder in Jacob's dream? God. What should have been expected at that moment of the dream? God is looking at Jacob to cheat. Surely God would castigate the sordid Jacob. Surely God would set out, patterns, programs of punishment of tshuva so as to allow Jacob to fulfill his role in preserving his grandfather Abraham's covenant. But no, none of that. God speaks to Jacob in this dream about a glorious future, a future in which Jacob's descendants will bring blessings to all of earth's inhabitants, a future in which those descendants will always be watched over and protected by God. Not unreasonably, we're shocked. Jacob was shocked. Achen, yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh v'anochi lo yadati. Wow, God is in this place, and I just didn't know it. But this dream was not a conversion moment for Jacob. He had a lot of deception left in his future, and this vision did not change that reality. He would declare, Ma norah hamakom hazeh, how awesome is this place. This is none other than the house of God and the gate of heaven. But Jacob still remains Jacob. Deception is his middle name. And how do we know? Pay heed. Because verses 20 to 22 of Genesis 28 make that painfully clear. Jacob asserts that if the God whom Jacob encountered in that dream will protect him, will feed him, will clothe him, and then will bring him back safely to his father's house, then and only then will Jacob worship God as his God. What chutzpah! What unmitigated gall! Jacob declares his relationship with God to be conditional, as if he could mess with God just as he has proven quite skillful in messing with the lives of others. I ask, is this the kind of example that we want to hold up to generations of our children? I can't imagine that it is. Jacob deserves to be judged very harshly. Oh, I know. He probably could rationalize each and every one of his cheating moments. I was cheated, so he deserved it. Or, I was cheating because I knew that in God's plan, I would become the third of the three patriarchs. I was cheating, yeah, but I was really trying to fulfill God's will. Or, the best one. Why were you cheating, Jacob? Mama knows best. Throughout Jacob's life, it seems that he would be paying a price for the choices he made, working 14 years so that he could marry the woman of his choice, mourning much of his adult life for his beloved Joseph, fearful that he would lose Benjamin, mourning the premature death of Rachel, living out his final years in some remote Egyptian location. But that dream, that latter dream, that dream tells us of a battle that was going on in Jacob's soul as he sought to balance the challenges of life with the moral and ethical sensitivity that he knew the covenant with God demanded of him. Jacob would carry that dream with him all of his life, even as he regularly faltered and stumbled. So I say, maybe Jacob's true heroism existed in the fact that he knew what was right, that he struggled to self-correct, and that he knew that his grandfather's God had room for both human aspiration and human failure. This is the Jacob I can identify with. This is the Jacob who gives me hope. I believe that this is the Jacob whom we can most properly teach to our children. Have a wonderful Shabbat. Enjoy your Chabad-based cupcakes. And may your dreams be dreams of hope. See you next week.